This video will demonstrate a quick time-lapse updating to Zenworks 2017 Update 2. We'll first discuss the prep and import of the Update 2. We'll be checking the health and integrity of the Zenworks system by running ZDC. And for the sake of time, we've ensured the databases are backed up, the system files on each primary server are backed up, Zman ZSB or Zman Zenworks Server Backup is run to back up the zone configuration files, and copies of the server certificates and CA are secured. Deploying to one primary server first and rebooting, making sure it's successful before we deploy to the other primary servers. Then we'll do a couple of post-deployment tasks like running ZDC, checking Zenworks system services, and that database communication is good. Also, since we have a Zenworks reporting server, we'll reconfigure the domain configuration from the Zenworks 2017 to Zenworks 2017 Update 2. And then finally, deploying to all the satellite servers and then staging the deployment for the managed devices. Part of the post-upgrade task is to update the Zenworks design diagram for reference later. This diagram is part of our Zenworks design document and an easy visual to see what devices we have to update. We'll first locate the first primary server. Typically, this is a server with the internal database on it. Since our zone has an external database, we'll look for that primary server holding the certificate authority. This would be ZCM primary server in headquarters of Los Angeles. Once ZDC is reviewed and cleared on the primary server system files and the external databases, we'll start the install on ZCM. Once the ZCM display is successful in ZCC, we'll run the update 2 on ZCM2 in headquarters of Los Angeles and the ZCM DMZ primary server, which is in the headquarters located in the DMZ network. When these are completed successfully, we'll run some post-update tasks like ZDC for Zenworks 2017 Update 2 and check the system services. Then we'll upgrade the ZRS 2017 Zenworks Reporting server in Los Angeles. While this is occurring, we can update the satellite servers in London, called LON ZCM SAT, and Bangalore, called BL SAT. Remember, part of the post-update task is to update your Zenworks design diagram. We'll go to ZenAdmin, log in, and we can see that our current configuration is at 17.0. Log into our ZCC, and we see the same thing as well here, 17.0 for all three primary servers. So we've downloaded the ZDC for Zenworks 2017, checked the MD5 checksum, went through and ran ZDC on each one of these servers and dropped the results or the reports in here. Go ahead and look at the results. This one is for the system files on ZCM, and we have a couple of extra files. They won't affect our upgrade. And then the Zen database report. Closing that, let's go ahead and look at our audit database. They should be run separately between the Zenworks audit database and the Zenworks database. And everything is fine in that database. So we're good there. Then we go over to the documentation. And we look at the system requirements, double checking primary server requirements, if there's virtual appliances, satellite requirements, database requirements, and so forth. So you can look through the details. We've covered those as well. So we are ready to import the system update. And if we go back over to our ZCC, we'll go to System Updates. We'll reduce this so we have a little more screen. It's waiting authorization. There's two ways to bring the Zenworks 2017 Update 2 into the zone, either by the entitlement, System Update Entitlement, which we do not have configured, and that entitlement is configured under Configuration, Infrastructure, System Update Settings, and you'd basically register so that it can talk to the NCC. If you don't have that configured, you can always download and import using the zman sui command. It's now awaiting authorization, so we will go ahead and authorize this update. Again, if you do download and import using the zman sui command, be sure to check the MD5 checksum on the file that you downloaded for integrity. So we're ready to deploy. We're going to deploy to the first Zenworks server. So we can go ahead and check. I've opened up the Zen admin on the other two primary servers because we have ZCM, ZCM2, and ZCM DMZ. And if we look at the configurations on those, they're all 17.0, just like the first primary. Now we're going to go ahead and launch this, deploy the update to a device. That device is what? The first primary server. Now we have an external database, so the first primary server that has a CA cert is our ZCM, so we'll do that one first. We'll go next. We'll go ahead and specify now, and we'll do finish. And in 2017, you can actually go to a particular status page for the system update so that you can watch this, because it will bring down the Zenworks services on this server as well as the other two primary servers automatically. And we'll need to watch the status of the update. So let's go here. And as you can see here, we have one not started yet, and it's on the server ZCM, and it's Zenworks 2017 Update 2A. We'll wait for this to proceed and watch the progress. I'll pop in here to see how the progress is going. You can see that it's in progress. It's updating the packages. 67%. We'll come back in a minute. And we can see it's completed at 100%. Let's go back to ZCC. Open up the Zenworks Control Center. Systems are starting up, so this may take a minute or two for it to come up with the Zenworks Control Center. And there it is. Let's log in as administrator. And the first thing we notice is the upgrade servers that need to be completed. ZCM, ZCM2, ZCM DMZ. Those are the primary servers in this zone. ZCM is not complete yet, only because the rebuilding of packages probably isn't done yet. Let's select OK. We do have a notification regarding the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update, which is build 1709. You can refer to this particular TID if you have those in your environment. Now let's go to configuration, and we can see we haven't refreshed yet for ZCM, so we don't see that that's actually completed yet. It is still pending, and it's installing the update. It hasn't noticed that it's refreshed yet, so let's give it a minute and it'll start rebuilding packages. And now it started rebuilding the deployment packages. Let's wait for this to complete, because this will stay pending until all of the packages are complete. Once complete, it'll turn to successful, and then we could start the other primary servers. Stand by a bit. The one thing to be aware of is, as far as the system update status is concerned, the update is completed. However, it does have this note: the actual status of the update itself, completing all processes, is not complete until ZCC says so, which is here. This would be the successful. As you can see now, it's on 4 of 17. If you actually select the link, it'll display the same message. almost complete. Stand by. And you can see it disappeared. So let's go see if it's successful. There it is, successful. It's the one in the list. Now we can go back and update the other two primary servers, which still have services off, yet Zeus is on so that it could receive the update. We'll go ahead and add them in here. Servers, mobile servers, ZCM and ZCM DMZ. Select now and finish. Now if we go back to the system status page, we'll see the other two have come in here. It's not started yet, but we'll wait for those to finish before we start on the satellite. Stand by. And you can see it started up on ZCM2. ZCM DMZ has not started yet, and that is also reflected in the ZCC. 91% complete. Let's keep a watch on this and see how it progresses. Another thing to note in your ZCC is this search criteria. So as you deploy to multiple devices that could be in the tens or hundreds, you can then sort by seeing those that are just installing the update or those with just update assigned in this list. So just be advised that that feature was introduced in 2017. We're waiting for the installing update to reset services and rebuild packages. And now you can see ZCM DMZ is installing at 93%. And if we go to ZCC, we can see it's at 94%. If we go back out, we'll see that both ZCM and ZCM2 have completed both their updates and rebuilding packages. So now we're just waiting for the final primary server before we start on the satellite server. Now it is at 100% for the update itself, showing the update successful on ZCM DMZ, all three. If we go over to ZCC, we can see that it's rebuilding the deployment packages. Notice the search changed from installing to rebuilding deployment packages. As it's rebuilding the deployment packages, let's go on over to primary server and start running the ZDC for Zenworks 2017 Update 2. And we would run ZDC on all three primary servers for system files. And then we need to run it once on the Zen database and once on the audit database. We're not running patch, so these should be okay. We'll double check them when we go through the ZDC reports. We'll wait for this to finish and then watch for the finish of the rebuilding of the deployment packages in ZCC for ZCM DMZ. And you'll want to make sure the rebuilding of packages is complete because part of the ZDC checks for those packages to be at the right level as well. If you do have FTFs applied when you run ZDC, those will probably reflect in the ZDC report as some type of inconsistency because those have been updated manually and not through the normal Zenworks update. That one completed. Let's go ahead and do the audit database as well while we're here. Alright, let's go to our Windows 10 device. And we're going to go to 2017 Update 2 for ZDC reports. And we're going to download these into the Update 2 directory. Okay, let's go over to our Update 2 directory, CCM Update 2. And let's take a look at these. System files. Okay, so they do show a couple extra files. We'll double check in that. We saw those prior to the install, so those are still there and picked up. It didn't affect our upgrade. Let's look at the database report. We do show some patch items in here, and we don't have patch enabled, so those will be okay. Eventually we want to double check those, see why they're coming up. Let's look at our ZCC. It's still rebuilding the packages. We're on 15 and 17. So this should be concluded in just a moment. And it disappeared. Let's look. It shows all 3 successful. And of course we'll go ahead and run the ZDC on ZCM2 and ZCM DMZ. To save time, we won't demonstrate that here. It should be a process of your post-upgrade tasks. Okay, next we'll upgrade our 2 satellite servers. Add, and they're in the Zen servers area, and it's BLR SAT and LON ZCM SAT. Okay, we'll do that now and finish. Those are pending at this point. We'll watch for them to fire off. And we can see those are starting to install as well. Go over to our Zenworks Reporting. We'll log in. You can see our Zenworks Reporting configuration currently has 17.0, and our zone is at 2017 update 2A. Let's go ahead and upgrade the domain configuration to 2A as well. We're going to go to select domain configuration, put in the server address. This is your ZCC administrator. And we're going to select all 3 of the domains, just like we had them before on 17.0. Prompts us to see if we're trying to add. It already exists. We want to overwrite it because we have a newer version out there of the tables. And it verifies. Yes, we want 17.2. We'll select OK. We're going to go ahead and apply the changes. There is a view configuration log if you want to watch it along the way. It's now at 35%. We can view the configuration log, see details of what's going on. And this is the most recent at top, so it stops services, modifies schema, and so forth. We'll wait for that to progress to 100%. And we can see our Zenworks reporting is now at 85%. We'll continue to watch this as it progresses. And the reporting server is now 100%. We can view the configuration log. Looks like the server is up and ready. Let's close. And if we look at our domains, we can see that we're now at 17.2. Let's go ahead and open the Zenworks reporting console. And we're ready to create reports. Alright, so Zenworks reporting services are taken care of. Go ahead and log out. And let's go back to our satellites and see if those are how those are doing. 1/3 there. So we'll wait for those to finish as well. Let's see how these are progressing. Looks like 94 and 42. If we look back at our satellites, we have one awaiting reboot, so it's probably in the process of rebooting right now, because part of our reboot options for this deployment was to automatically reboot. So that should be successful in a moment. And London satellite is almost complete. If we look at the BLR satellite, yes, there's a prompt, and it'll automatically occur in 5 minutes, but we'll go ahead and say, do that now. You can see these statuses here again are changing. As they change in the console, they change so you can search on particular ones, which ones are awaiting reboot. So if you have a large list, you can easily see those. Then if you needed to, you had to refresh the device or something, you can do them in bulk. And you can see the London now also is awaiting reboot. Let's go over to the London satellite, and we can see that it's also requesting a reboot, and we'll go ahead and reboot now. And there, they disappeared. Let's see if they're successful. Perfect. Actually, it's all baselined. And the reason why it's baselined is those are the only devices in the zone, and all of the devices in the zone have been successfully upgraded. So it automatically baselined. And we've run ZDC on all three. We've made sure services are started on all three appliances, and we've just completed our Zenworks Update 2 to our 2017 zone. Now let's check out some what's new in Update 2. Each of the versions or upgrades not only have fixes, but most importantly, new features, enhancements, and added functionality. Check the Zenworks Configuration Management 2017 documentation to see what's new in 2017, 2017 Update 1, and 2017 Update 2. See how your idea is posted on the Ideas portal, and your voting directly contributes to making the product better and more functional. In Update 2, new platform support in OES, SLES, OS X, and Red Hat. Zenworks Configuration Management has plenty of new changes in the mobile arena. Most importantly, the Android Enterprise. Also iOS Activation Lock Bypass and Mobile Device Inventory. Endpoint Security Management now has the ability to manage BitLocker encryption, has some IPv6 support in the firewall policy, and endpoint security audit events for assignments modified and effective agent events. In the full disk encryption product, the capability to encrypt multiple physical hard disks and is no longer limited to disk 0. And improved operating system support for Windows 10 feature updates and Hibernate. Should you have patch management, it also has changed capabilities for license replication location, which was changed to https download.novell.com, and added support for operating systems and Linux distributions like Windows version 10, version 1709, Mac OS X, version 1013 High Sierra, SLES 12 SP3, and Red Hat Enterprise Linux version 6.9 and 7.4. Let's move on to our resources. We'll cover some resources available to you. Zenworks 2017 Update 2 product and support documentation. Remember, within the product documentation has known issues and troubleshooting info as well. And the ZCC has help for every page and item to assist you in answering some of your basic questions while in Zenworks Control Center. Micro Focus Knowledge Base that has additional specific information, fixes, and details. You also have available the Micro Focus Customer Portal, which will have downloads and license information along with opening support tickets should you need assistance from Global Tech Support. Various forums from Cool Solutions to Technical Transfer Partners, TTP, to Micro Focus Product Support Forums. A great resource is your Zenworks design documentation for your environment specifically. If you don't have one, it is never too late to start. It's an easy go-to for your zone configuration, network information, and setup. Also, the Zenworks 2017 Cookbook TID 7018169 is a great resource that has reminders, updates, links to documentation, links to files like ZDC, and product patches and downloads, along with videos and the Micro Focus Zenworks Highlights YouTube channel. I added a couple slides here for troubleshooting for system update stages. these example troubleshooting system update stages and logs. This way, depending on what stage it's in, you can pull the logs necessary should there be a problem, whether it's downloading, importing, and rebuilding, or you're applying to primaries or satellites or managed devices. These logs will come in handy. Additional logs on the server side might pertain to system update progress or schema actions, as well as ZESM agent install logs. These logs here are listed for your reference, as well as the agent side system update logs. Whether you're doing a system update, or you're trying to see if Zeus is acting properly, or just checking the version of the product, these logs come in handy. This concludes this demonstration video on updating Zenworks 2017 to Zenworks 2017 Update 2.